Enter the realm of KSBM Radio's creation. Student-led from inception to narration. Crafting content from dawn until dusk. All students involved in the work and the fuss. In the heart of Townview where voices reside. Student-led discussions where ideas collide. From interviews with leaders, peers, and businesses. Just watch us work creating innovative content. Every aspect managed with student finesse. From podcast production to social media press. No task too daunting, no challenge too grand. KSBM Radio, we taking a stand. KSBM Radio, students leading the way. Every task idea, we seize the day. Witness now as all of our efforts break through. KSBM Radio, the voice of Townview.
Come closer to the music.
Broadcasting live from Marvin E. Robinson School of Business and Management, Dallas, Texas.
My radio station.
We are KSBM Radio, the voice of Townview.
Hello and welcome to KSBM Radio, the voice of Townview. I'm Amethyst and I'm here with
Blossom.
Arum. Santi.
Today is a big moment for us. This is the very first interview in our SBM 50 and TMC 30 celebration series, where we highlight 50 years of the School of Business and Management and 30 years of Townview Magnet Center. Throughout the year, we will be interviewing alumni who are shaping their communities and carrying the Townview legacy forward.
We're so excited to begin this series with Mr. Terry Shedd, Law Magnet Class of 2000. While at Townview, he was a part of the Big D Band, and after graduating, he served in the United States Marine Corps, earned degrees in criminology and psychology, worked as a Dallas police officer, and today serves as an educational diagnostician in Dallas ISD. Mr. Shedd's story is about service, leadership, and giving back to his community. He represents the impact Townview alumni continue to make, and we're so honored to have him as our first guest in this special series. Mr. Shedd, thank you so much for joining us today, and is there anything you would like to share before we get started?
Thank you for having me, Blossom.
Yes.
That was a great intro, to be introduced like that. I think this is a unique experience, opportunity. This is very different. I was sharing with the administrator this morning about this, and I'm excited to be here. So thank you for having me. I appreciate the experience.
All right, so obviously we want to ask about your past, the beginning of how it all happened.
Sure.
So obviously you grew up in Oak Cliff. So we just wanted to ask about how that community and how that area shaped your values and the direction you chose in your life and career.
Sure. So I'll ask first, anybody here from Oak Cliff?
No.
Okay. Well, for me, growing up in Oak Cliff, I grew up in a both-parent household. A lot of my peers grew up in a single-parent household. And I think that's kind of what shaped my values and what led me to Townview. My parents installed hard work in education, how important education is. When I look about and I think about education, it's the only what I call the differentiator that you can earn that no one can take away from you. So you understand humility, humbleness, and values in life. You understand, what it means to have hard work and how much education can fuel you forward. So my parents installed that to me early, so you can see life and you don't want to struggle in life. Growing up in Oak Cliff, you understood that. That humbleness to look at people from different perspectives, be inclusive in that diversity. Growing up in Oak Cliff helped me understand to bring me here to Townview.
Would you say you're a product of your environment?
I would say I'm a product of my environment, but in a way, I think that I kind of created my own path. I was kind of a different student. I thought differently. I did not want to be a statistic, if that makes sense to everyone. I didn't want to see myself. A lot of black and brown men my age at the time went to school on music and sports, which is not to say there's anything wrong with that. I think that's great, but I kind of wanted to be different. So if I had went to my zone home campus, my life would have totally been different. So I was thankful for the unique experience I had here at Townview, and it kind of turned out differently. So yes, I am a product of my environment, so I understand the values and things that our community brought to us, but I also thought differently outside the box. So yes and no, that makes sense to answer your question. Yeah.
Looking back to your years at Townview, who would you say had the biggest impact on you?
Okay, so the biggest person that stands out is Mr. Dean Hill, the former band director. He was a band director with me when I was in middle school from O.W. Holmes, and we kind of followed him from Oliver Wendell Holmes to Townview. So I think he kind of installed things in me as a student, but to become a better, not just musician, but just as a mentor. Another person that stood out would be the former principal at Law Magnet, not here anymore. His name was Mr. Robert Giesler. He took a chance on me. He gambled on me, and I know I gave him a hard time as a student. I was a really troubled student here, acting out at Townview. So he stood out to me. I appreciate him for taking that opportunity with me. Another person that stood out was Miss Carolyn Arnold King. Have you guys heard of her?
No, sir.
She was mayor pro tem for the city of Dallas. I think right now she serves in District 4. She was a geography teacher here at Townview. And she was my teacher. And she used to say, I used to work at a Williams Chicken on Keystone Polk. And she was in my drive-thru. And she was like, Terry, don't forget my pepper. And the one thing I forgot was her pepper. She would never let me forget it. So to this day, I've seen her several times when she was campaigning. We go back, and I'll show you a picture we took with her. So she's advocating for our community right now. So that inspires me to see that she was a teacher here, and now she's doing things for the city of Dallas, too. So she's coming full circle. So that's very inspiring.
Since you were a part of the Big D band, what stands out most from that experience? And what did it teach you about teamwork and discipline?
I wouldn't say teamwork and discipline. That's probably because a lot of my background is from the military. But I think a lot of the things that I took away was, and I didn't see it at the time, was that legacy. And coming back to Townview all the time, I was driving by one summer, and I saw two students out in the back parking lot by themselves. He had on blue shorts and a gold shirt, Townview students. He was just playing his trumpet by himself with the person. I was like, that's dedication. I don't think other people kind of realize how much hard work that is. So that legacy, we didn't realize what we were building now at that time. So now when I come back and I see a lot of the traditions and the formations that we did, that we brought from Oliver Wendell Holmes to there. And I can tell you when you go through Townview, being a Magnet Center, you think Townview's known for academics, education and things. But the trophies are all band trophies. Am I right? If you go, have you looked at them? They're all band trophies. It's like, why is that? Sharing, kind of to talk about the legacy, what I got from Big D Band. We started, my band legacy started with was elementary school. Moved from elementary school to junior high. Went to that junior high summer band camp. That's kind of when I learned some peers. Some of the peers I still talk to today. We kind of learn how we play together, learn the routines. And then when we get to middle school, that 6th grade year, we're going to school together. We got everything going. We're in 6th grade year in band, going to parades, band trips. Then 6th grade to 7th grade, band summer camp again. We're learning that experience. At that time, we learned that Mr. Hill was going to a new school that no one ever heard of, Townview. And we wanted to go where Mr. Hill was. So Mr. Hill went to Townview, and we all sat, and I never forget it, we sat in the back of the room, and it was about 20 of us. We all applied paper pencil to go to Townview. And maybe 80% of us all made it. So we all followed Mr. Hill to Townview. Now, Mr. Hill went before we went. So there was a class that went with Mr. Hill, and I think they graduated in 99. So they were already there. At that time, there was no marching band at Townview. There was no band program. So when my class, 2000, came in, and this was back in like 98, we're thinking 97, we all came in with that class from Oliver Wendell Holmes. So we already knew the routines. We melted well together. Also now, new classes are coming in. So a lot of the times when we go to Battle of the Bands, when we go to play at football games, people wonder, well, how is Townview Band so great? It's because not only do we have 2 years already in high school playing together versus someone at Samuel, when those students are already just met each other, we've met each other since junior high. So all the routines, I know how this guy plays. He's been playing trumpet. I know what he does. He knows Terry. He knows how he plays the drums. We know the routines. We brought that from middle school and built it here at Townview. Townview didn't have a marching band. We had to get the names. We talked about the marching, call it Storm. We had to come up with that name. So to see that they're still using the name that we created now, seeing the same routines is inspiring. That legacy has been passed on from generations to generations.
What does it mean to you, and like, how does it feel to see like the same traditions in band carry on, like even now?
I think at the time you didn't realize it, and that's not to say we didn't take it for granted. Mm-hmm. I think we all, those band trips, we used to have lock-ins. Like we would stay overnight. I mean, that was back in the day. We lock ourselves and stay overnight for band camp. But we didn't see it. We were building friendships and that legacy to come on. And it's just, I appreciate the experience that it had. Like even now as a 43-year-old man, like I was 15, 16, 17 at the time. I didn't know how impactful that would be and how impactful it would be for other students to come. So I'm grateful to have that opportunity.
Okay. Outside of school, who would you say like inspired you or supported you throughout going through high school?
Definitely my sister. My sister was she would cry if she made a She was very strong academically. She's also a product of Townview. She was one of the first graduating class from Townview. And I think I followed her footsteps throughout, even with band. She was in band with Mr. Hill when I was in elementary school, so I knew already how that worked. So I'm coming from a long tradition of band. But she went to Townview Magnet, and I'm just going to school because my mom told me to go to school, and I have to follow my sister. So she went to Magnet. I went to Magnet. And I think people saw how bright she was academically and the talent she had, and I think they saw that I would have that. Little did they know when Terry came to Townview, I was a C student, but she definitely paved the way, and I kind of followed. Now, granted, as an adult, I kind of made my own way. I've grown up, but she definitely inspired me to become, who I was, to have those things to pave the way going through to understand education. And if she can do it, I can do it. My sister went to school on a full academic scholarship. I couldn't get a full academic scholarship. It was band scholarships. So that kind of like, you know what? I can do it. I can do it a different way. So those things were inspiring. I think she kind of paved the way to keep me at least on the right track.
Any other question?
So after high school,
Uh-huh.
you went to the Marines, right?
I did.
So we just wanted to ask, what influenced that decision to go to the Marines right after high school instead of going to the traditional route of a 4-year college or just straight to work?
Yeah, it's I think the expectation, especially being here at Townview, is that you go to college, and it's academics, it's educators. You want kids to go to college, and I think I shared this in my biography. I remember we were in the theater and we all had to stand up and talk about what school we'll be attending, and there were people going to Northwestern and these different schools, and I stood up and said, "I think I'll go to the Marine Corps," and it was like silence. Because it's untraditional, right? You think, wow, why would you go into the Marines of all places? Again, I think I had scholarships, but they were partial scholarships. They were band scholarships. And again, I think from my experience, I saw too many brown and black boys go to school on music and sports. And I know that there's a ceiling that we could break and we could do better than. I didn't want to be a statistic. At the time, I wanted to be a politician. And I thought, yeah, I know, it's crazy, right? I thought, well, how can I be different? What would lead me to be a successful, citizen, not alone a politician, if I want to be? And I thought, well, most politicians have served their country, been in the military. And I thought, if I went to the military, I'd become a better citizen for society, and I'd make myself more valuable if I had military experience and let them pay for college. So it's not that I couldn't go to college, but I'm grateful for the path that I did take, because going to college as a 24-year-old adult versus an 18-year-old kid, I probably would have went to Prairie View somewhere. And not to say it would have been great, but I wouldn't have understood the lessons that a professor is trying to teach you about life as an adult versus as a kid. So it was very untraditional, but I appreciate the experience going to the military first.
How did your choice what did your classmates and friends and family thought about your choice?
I think my family was supportive. Like my mom, they probably would have thought, yeah, I don't see you as a college student. But friends, I mean, they were like, yeah, it's not traditional. It's not the right way. But my family was very supportive. I think you got to think as a parent, your mom wants to see you do something productive, right? So it was great. Now, of course, as a parent, going into the Marine Corps in the year 2000 was frightening for her, and for any parent going to the military service. I think she had her concerns. But it was great, but they were overall supportive. And I think if, and I don't remember specifically laying out my life plan with my mom. You're 18, you're an adult, you can figure this out, you can do it. But overall, they were supportive about the decision that I made. And I'm still very, I'd do it over several times again if I could. I think it was the right path. It worked out.
So, what lessons or skill from your Marine service do you still apply today?
So when I get asked that question, a lot of people think, oh, well, you know how to fight, and guns and weapons and tactics. And it's true. Like, yeah, I was in an elite unit where I did learn those things. I learned how to swim, I learned how to run and things like that. But that really it's not what transitioned to civilian world. I think one of the things that I learned in civilian world that is a pet peeve of mine when I got back is that in the military, you do what you're told and you follow orders. And I'll give you an example. You ever have someone in the supervisor tells you to do something? They say, I need you to do X, Y, Z. And someone say, well, why do you have to ask me to do it? Can't you do it? But someone else could do it better. To me, coming from the military, that is, it still bothers me because your supervisor or your person or your superior is in a position to see things that you don't see. They're in a position to know things that you don't know. They may be asking you to do these things for a certain reason. In the military, you follow orders or there are consequences, maybe dire consequences. I need you to do this. And your response should be, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, I'm gonna go do it. If you can't do it, you do what you can and you come back to say, hey, and don't come with problems, come with solutions. Hey, I couldn't do it because I see this happening. We could do this, or this. I think we should do this. What do you think? And you give the power back to your supervisor and they give you the directive again. But in civilian world, you see people, well, oh, I couldn't get it done, or I don't want to do that. I couldn't do it, and it's just do what you're told because I don't have the time to explain to you why I need you to do this. I need you to do it, and this is how an organization should work. If it's wrong ethically or morally, or you can't do it, or there's something and you don't agree with it, that's not for you to decide. That's for them to decide. They made the decision. So that's one of the things that I see working in an organization that I think breakdowns that I learned how to work in an organization and how to see the bigger picture, but understand your role specifically and how things work. And I think a lot of people miss that. It's one of the reasons why I advocate, I know y'all love high school, but I advocate for a lot of high school students to graduate and get some type of military experience maybe, right? Just because you can understand life differently, understand how to work as a group and just understand life perspectives a little bit better. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. So after the Marines, you went to go earn 2 bachelor's degrees in criminology and psychology in just 2 years. How did your discipline from the military and focus help you achieve that?
Oh, Uncle Sam. Yeah, so first, and I'll just reiterate a little bit, going to school as an adult, 24, 25, is different from going to school as a 18-year-old, right? Meaning, one, when you're 18, it's not to say that you want to be focused, but you want to party. This is an experience. It's a college experience, right? Living on the university campus. But as an adult, the things that I had seen and done from the Marine Corps, I was already living life, paying bills, right? Now I'm in college with 18 or 19-year-olds. So when they want to go to the student center and go play games and hang out, I'm like, I got to go to work. I saw the end picture. I saw the end result. It's not to say that an 18-year-old, 19-year-old college student wouldn't see it. But for example, as an 18-year-old, 19-year-old college student, you're looking for graduation, to walk the stage and get that experience, and that's great. I was looking for, I need that transcript because I'm looking to get this career, and I need this employer to look at me to have this knowledge and experience. It was more about the opportunity. So my party life from 18 and 19 was spent in the military, so I didn't really need that experience of that college life, although I understand it was different and I kind of missed out on that, but I understand the difference of preparing for that. So with the 2 bachelor's degrees and master's degrees now, but it wasn't so more the military discipline that got me there, more so of Uncle Sam and having a plan to draw it out. And I think maybe this is where the maturity came from. I spent a lot of time, I didn't have the opportunity to go to college, taking college courses while I was in the military. A lot of times that's a misconception because you're always overseas, you're always working. But this is one of the things when I became focused. When I got out, I saw the end result, the plan with the end in mind. And I was going to community colleges. I think at the time I was getting the Montgomery GI Bill. It's probably like $1,000 a month. You can't go to a university on $1,000 a month, but it will give you money to go to community college. Now, I know community college for a lot of people is like, what is community college, right? But sometimes that may be a better route because now I can get smaller classes that are locally designed, and I can get different courses at different times. For example, I went to El Centro, Mountain View, taking these classes as an adult, and I'm getting my basics out of the way, and they transfer into my university. Does that make sense? So now, for example, I failed a college algebra class, right? But it was during the semester. I took it again in like a night course, and it was like 5 people in the class and passed it with an A. So and now, I probably wouldn't have done that if I was at the university level, but all of these classes transferred into university. So now, when I depleted my Montgomery GI Bill, and this is how you play the game with Uncle Sam and the red tape when you're from the military, you get what's called the Hazelwood Act. And the Hazelwood exempts your tuition to any Texas public university. So now that I've gotten all of this $36,000, $1,000 a month at community colleges, I figured out I knew what college university I wanted to go to. So I went to University of Texas at Dallas. And they said, okay, Mr. Shedd, you have this many classes, great. They transfer in. All you need is these classes and you have your bachelor's degree. Great. So I'm taking so many classes in residency. But I needed a few hours of courses outside of my criminology degree. Well, I also applied for the psychology degree. And they said, well, you have all of these community college classes, which apply for your psychology degree. You just need a few classes outside of your psychology degree. I double dipped, got my criminology classes to supplement my psychology classes, and finished that 2 bachelor's degrees in 2 years because I spent the time in the community college doing the background work. So that's kind of how I worked that to get 2 bachelor's degrees in 2 years. And afterwards, the master's degrees, and after a while, when I became an educator.
Pretty smart.
That's
Yeah.
really
And I
smart.
think as an 18-year-old, it's kind of how you probably wouldn't think to say, oh, okay, let me figure that out. But as an adult, I saw the end result and I kind of worked that in to have that discipline or mindset to look at the end result to make that happen. It was a lot.
Yeah, no, because it works so well. Like now that you explain it,
Uh-huh.
it made so much sense. I was like, wow, I wouldn't even think about that. But then after all that, you became a police officer. So I just wanted to ask,
Short time.
what did you hope to bring to your community through that role, through that position, and what challenges shaped your perspective on justice as your time as a police officer?
Yeah, representation matters. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Diversity matters. When you are a young brown or black person in Oak Cliff, and you're driving, and it's Friday night, and you're getting put over by cops, you want somebody to understand. You want somebody to see you as a human and not to see you as a criminal. So if you drive, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you're driving, it's a Friday night, and you're just going out, you're just hanging out. But you probably did something silly in lane change, and I pull you over. And what's your name again?
Earl?
Arul. All right. Hey, Arul, how's it going, man? You're not in any trouble, but just want to make sure everything good? All right, make sure y'all get home safe, right? Because I understand it. I understand that. You see me like, oh, he's cool, right? You see, oh, he's a cool cop. But if I'm a cop and I'm from Nebraska and I don't know South Dallas and Oak Cliff and it's 12 in the morning and I'm afraid and I'm by myself, I'm a little bit more to see a brown kid, right? And have some type of stereotypical ideology and like, bro, what are you doing? Can you get out? And representation matters. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to see people to represent my community. But the challenges you said that, and I think I understood this being from Law Magnet too, but to experience it is different. The wheels of justice is slow. There's a lot of red tape in politics and the justice system. For example, I think a lot of people become police officers and serving, not just police officers, but public servants. They want to give that community and you want to see, to wrap it up, the output of your effort. So a lot of the times if you would arrest someone, because a lot of the times these issues are tied with together. It's not just criminality. It's a lot of addiction. It's a lot of substance abuse. It's a lot of lack of education. These things are tied together. And you arrest someone, they'll be back the next day. And it's like, well, what was the point? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of depleting your energy. And it's kind of what, let me try to something different.
Why did you decide to leave law enforcement and go into special education?
And that was the reason why. I think I wanted to find out, I wanted to see the output of my effort. When you work all day and you want to give back to society, you want to see that you're actually making a difference. And I don't feel that I was making a true difference in that field. But moving into special education, becoming an educator was the last resort. I had no idea I'd become even a teacher, right? But it's so rewarding now when, as a teacher, when you hear a student say, well, Mr. Shedd taught me that. That's something that you can really appreciate and take with you. And it's not for cloud, it's not for anybody else to experience, but you experience that to advocate for students, even to lead me to become a diagnostician now. That's kind of one of the reasons why I left to change career paths, because I want to actually see that I was making a difference to impact people, their students' lives.
Any other questions?
So you mentioned in your little bio that your brother's experience with special needs clearly influenced your path to go into special education. How has that shaped your passion for advocacy and the work you do now?
Yeah, I think, my brother was receiving special education services as a student in Dallas ISD. And I didn't understand it at the time, but I remember my mom in those meetings really pushing to advocate him and not wanting him to treat him differently and wanting him to not be a statistic and not treat him differently. He has a right to access education just like everybody else. And I didn't understand that as a kid growing up, but now I saw that he can do things, and this is kind of what led me to actually want to actually give back too. I can work with students to understand that people are different. Just because you're different don't mean you can do things, and this is kind of what led me to become a special education teacher, to actually see the impact and make a difference that way.
So to look forward, what advice would you give to current Townview students, I guess, about creating their own path, even if it doesn't mean the traditional college route?
Yeah, I think a lot of the times here, and I kind of asked you earlier before we started, what do you want to do? And you may have an ideology of what you want to do, but they may change, and that's fine. I think as long as you keep propelling yourself and moving forward, and you're building your resume to be diverse, become a jack of all trades. It's not enough to know a lot about one subject, but know a lot about many subjects, a little about many subjects. So even if you are in business right now and you said you want to be in marketing, and let's say 20 years from now, that may not be the trajectory, but you're still pulling yourself forward, and who knows what path you may lead. If you build that resume, you say, hey, I have experience with marketing, but you know what, I also have this experience in this area. It makes you more diverse. So you may not know what you want to do, but keep pulling yourself forward to try different things, and it'll lead you to where you're going to land.
All right, well, this will be our final question for today. And we all wanted to ask this important question because we're going to ask this to all the other alumni. So we just want to hear all the different answers, the different perspectives.
This should be good.
So if you could go back and give advice to your high school self at Townview, what would you say?
Not to take advantage of the opportunity that you have here. And let me explain. I think I kind of mentioned earlier, we're in a unique position to be here. If I would have went to my regular school, Kimball or Samuel, I would have not turned out the way I did. Life would have been totally different. I would have been a statistic. So right now, there are people, and you all applied to be here. Not everybody got this experience to be here at Townview at this unique school. So there may be times at night when you don't want to write, like, I'm not going to finish that paper, or I'll put it to the side. Just know that there are students who are at their home school who didn't get this opportunity, who were here, who probably would have put the work in. So you owe it to yourself, and you owe it to them to keep pushing forward. So, I'll study. I'll put that, and I'm going to go study tonight. No, there are other people who would have actually did it. So you owe it to yourself and them to actually push forward, to not take advantage of this opportunity that you have here. I would tell myself that, and I think because I kind of squandered that opportunity and not took full advantage of it, but that's advice that I would give to other students as well.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Shed. Thank you for sharing your journey with us, your story of service, your commitment to the multiple stuff you've done over. It's truly inspiring to all of us, and we're proud to have you as our first guest here, and especially for like the SBM 50 and TMC 30 celebration series. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to follow us on Facebook at KSBM Radio and on our Instagram at ksbmradio.tvt to keep up with all things Townview and hear more alumni stories. This is only the beginning of our Alumni Spotlight series, so stay tuned for more voices from across Townview history. This is Santi with KSBM Radio, the voice of Townview. Until next time, stay awesome.
Thank you for listening to KSBM Radio, the voice of Townview.
My radio station.
We hope you enjoyed the great content and great discussion, all from a student's perspective. Make sure to follow us on Twitter for the latest updates at KSBM_TVT or on Facebook at KSBM Radio.
Add them on Facebook.
Check them on Facebook.
Take care.